Esto es Imagen Empresarial y estoy muy contento porque está con nosotros aquí en la cabina. He estado en varias ocasiones a lo largo de los años, unas veces de manera virtual por el tema de la pandemia o porque además viaja mucho, y otras ha estado en el estudio, y me refiero a Jean-Philippe Courtois. Él es el vicepresidente ejecutivo y presidente de Transformaciones y Asociaciones de Microsoft, o Transformación Nacional de Microsoft. Sería Jean-Philippe, welcome, thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, Rodrigo.
You speak Spanish now,
No,
it's very good.
Un poco.
No, I'm very happy because I know that it's a very tough agenda. You just arrived yesterday, you're traveling all over the world, as everybody else is now in this post-pandemic. I don't know if it's post-pandemic, but it's a different time.
Yes.
So, Jean-Philippe, now you're looking at the social impact of the technology, particularly the artificial intelligence, that is a subject that is very effervescent at this particular moment.
Yes.
What would you say of this social dimension of this technology? Because I think I was writing that 2023 is going to be the year probably in which almost all the people know about artificial intelligence, even though it has been present since a couple of years.
For many years, yes. Yeah. No, indeed, Rodrigo, I think it's a very exciting time we are going through. You know, as a company, we have a mission which is about empowering every person, every organization on the planet to achieve more. And what we mean by that is truly to deliver, of course, world-class technologies that enable people, businesses, governments to achieve more in a sense of using digital capabilities, using data and AI, we're going to talk a little bit about that, to truly have an impact both from an economic standpoint, a social standpoint, a sustainability standpoint as well. So as I'm back in Mexico after the last couple of years, I've been here as well, it's wonderful to see the way it's coming together in a country like Mexico, and where the power of cloud and AI is transforming the economy. As you're probably aware, as a company, we made this announcement a few years ago that we'll be doing this massive data center investment in Querétaro very soon now, opening next year, so very soon, which is going really to enable the entire economy, including the largest enterprise, the small businesses as well, the PMS, to truly use the digital assets to grow the economy and grow their capabilities. And so the highest level, I would say, we are very committed to do a number of things. Number one is to scaling. Clearly the communities. We've been already training 500,000 students in the country, in Mexico. We've been training, certifying 300,000 developers. And as you know well, last time we were together, we discussed this initiative on the PMS. We've been also enabling 1 million PMS in Mexico. I think what we want to achieve more now is also raise the bar on cybersecurity. It's a huge challenge. Yeah. Mexico is the most attacked country in Latin America, even before Brazil. In the first quarter of 2022, there were 80 billion cyber attacks in the country. And the estimated cost of that for the economy is $8 billion. So we do believe that the cloud can actually help a lot of companies in Mexico, public administration as well, to be a lot more safer about the way they deal with data and the way they can drive economic and social outcomes in the country. So that's something we really want to go after. And the last point I'm sure we'll have time to go back to as well is how can we use the power of cloud and data to enable sustainability in the country, to enable a positive social impact. And we've been announcing a number of great partnerships in the country to achieve that.
Le pregunto a Philippe, digamos, ¿cuál es el impacto y la dimensión social de la tecnología? Me dice que ellos en la compañía, en Microsoft, tienen la misión de empoderar justamente a través de la tecnología para justamente detonar las capacidades en la economía, pero sobre todo también la sustentabilidad. Menciona, bueno, pues el tema del data center que van a inaugurar en Querétaro, en donde la nube vinculada a la inteligencia artificial pues va a permitir detonar un crecimiento económico a las pequeñas y medianas empresas, y además, bueno, pues 3 objetivos. Uno es el brindar habilidades. Estamos hablando de que ya lo han hecho 1 millón de estudiantes, a 300,000 desarrolladores. 2 es dar herramientas a 1 millón de pequeñas y medianas empresas, que es un tema fundamental. Y un caso, nos dice Philippe, no lo dice él, eso lo digo yo, pero el tema de la ciberseguridad, que es tan importante en México. Y me da algunos datos muy impresionantes. Y es que México es el país de América Latina que ha recibido más ataques. Estamos hablando de 80,000 millones de ataques con un impacto económico de $1,000 millones en la economía. Y esto, bueno, pues tiene que tener más visibilidad tanto en el sector privado, pero también público. Jean-Philippe, here in Mexico, this year has been very important in terms of cybersecurity, because we have been shown by the attackers that saving a few pesos, it's a pretty bad idea, because very now, for example, the Minister of Defense received an attack, a sort of WikiLeaks thing, but very big, with very important consequences politically, socially, and security. And I think that's your message is it coming in a time that is very obvious for everyone now, that you should not save a few pesos because the cost is immense.
Much higher. I mean, I think at the highest level, Mr. Rodrigo, in any country in the world, I see the rise in terms of emergency to protect any country in the world against, cyber attacks. I think obviously the best or worst example of that is the war in Ukraine. As a company, myself, we've been deeply involved with some other large tech companies to support the government of Ukraine months before the war started, to protect their critical infrastructures on our cloud in other friendly countries outside of Ukraine. So this is the time where you realize that the power of the cloud to actually enable you to keep running your electricity, utilities, nuclear powers, and all of that is just life itself. And so I think we believe that in Mexico, we have a big role to play, to partner with all the largest enterprises in the country, the government as well, to do a few things. Number one, make sure that there are the right policies in the countries to make sure that cybersecurity is elevated in the political agenda. Number two, to skilling people. Right now, there's a gap of 260,000 cybersecurity specialists in Mexico. And globally, we are talking about millions of jobs missing on cybersecurity. So we've been announcing an initiative with an organization called Red de Ciberseguridad, by which we are actually training thousands of people to become cybersecurity experts. And the last thing is obviously to run simulation of cybersecurity attacks, to see the penetration vectors, and then to truly put in place not just the technology infrastructure, but also the right policies, the right processes, and the right education for your people. Because at the end of the day, security is a lot about people mistakes as well. And you want to have an end-to-end, what we call zero trust approach. And zero trust means what it tells, which is you cannot trust anyone, anything. So you need to protect the identities, the users coming into your networks, the applications, the data, the network, the infrastructures. And as a company, we built an anti-set of cloud technologies to enable that for the largest companies in the world.
Me dice Jean-Philippe que justamente en el tema de la ciberseguridad, bueno, ellos, es bien interesante, empezaron a ayudar a Ucrania antes de que comenzara la invasión en darle, digamos, nube y respaldo a sus servicios, lo cual demuestra que son la vida, porque evidentemente cuando ya se dio la invasión, una de las cosas sorprendentes, eso no lo dice Jean-Philippe, lo digo yo, es cómo Ucrania logró resistir, sostenerse. I was in a conference of electricity, and one of the main subjects was that the attack against Ukraine, the electric grid. And this time, it didn't happen. I mean, directly they launched some missiles, but it was not a cyber security attack. Ya regresamos con más aquí en Imagen Empresarial. Esta mañana está con nosotros Jean-Philippe Courtois. Él es el vicepresidente ejecutivo y presidente de Alianzas de Transformación Nacional de Microsoft. Y bueno, me quedé a la mitad de la traducción y es importante lo que nos había dicho Philippe en materia de ciberseguridad. Bueno, ya le decía el tema de Ucrania y cómo han ayudado a prevenir, digamos, a colocar en países aledaños los servicios, darles respaldos a través de la nube. sobre. Además también me decía algo fundamental, y esto creo que es un gran mensaje para los estudiantes que nos están escuchando, para muchos líderes de universidades también, y es que hay una brecha, digamos, faltan 260,000 personas formadas en temas de ciberseguridad. Se requiere un diseño de la currícula, bueno, eso lo platicaba ahorita con Philippe, por un lado, y por otro lado, bueno, pues que se vayan formando en ello. A escala global son millones. Entonces, si nos están escuchando, si desarrollan esa carrera o estudian temas de ciberseguridad, tendrán un futuro luminoso desde el punto de vista laboral. Además también, bueno, esto permite, digamos, la tecnología, correr simulaciones para identificar vectores de ataque, para identificar justamente dónde están las fallas de las personas, que siguen siendo un punto importante. Y me decía Felipe un concepto que es el zero trust, es decir, el tener cero confianza o estar muy visible, digamos, en que no te puedes confiar absolutamente nada. And now, Philippe, the other subject that is related with cybersecurity is AI, because I think that it's not going to take too long in order when the hackers will say to an AI, help me finding the gaps in this. Is already happening, but it's going to happen with more intensity. So we're going to have adversarial networks trying to fight each other in terms of cybersecurity, and it's going to be very interesting. But let us center in the positive aspect of this technology. What excites you about this? Because we're going forward very fast.
Yeah, we are seeing some pretty amazing changes happening in terms of data and AI capabilities. Obviously, I think all the world has been fascinated, including you, Rodrigo. You told me about chatbox GPT, these general intelligence AI capabilities to basically respond in a very elaborated way to some pretty advanced questions. I think what's happening is the following. You know, the economy, the business players, the governments, and all those nations are becoming data organizations, data companies. We said that 10 years ago, we said, you know, all the businesses are going to become tech companies, digital companies. It's happening with data and AI at the core of their fabrics. I think we have a wonderful example of that in the Mexican economy, which I can share, which is Bimbo, well-known global brands, not just in Mexico. And Bimbo has done is really decide to build a data fabrics and to use it across the entire business. First example of what they do, they basically built on our Azure data capabilities. They built a way to connect all of their manufacturing plants, all the production, basically plants of Bimbo across the world, and using both IoT and data and AI to monitor and improve the performance and the quality of the predictions of those millions of loaves of bread that are being distributed across the globe in so many cities in the world. And they use data and AI to predict what could go wrong, what could be improved in the quality and the flavors of the bread they serve to their customers. But they're going beyond that. They are also doing the same on analyzing their sales performance, analytics. They'll be using some, we call the Power BI, some tools enabling people on the front line in any country in the world to analyze what's going on, the consumption by product line, and what they could do most of to take advantage of that. And the third example, which I love, is about the way they use data and AI to drive sustainability. They've been actually embarking on our new platform called Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability, and one solution called the Microsoft Sustainability Solution Manager, which in essence enable them to collect all the data you have in a company like Bimbo. Think about the data they have. They have data on production of the breads. They have data, of course, on all the sales. They've got data as well on interact with their customers and their B2B's networks of resellers and more. And so what they do with that, they basically collect all the data using IoT, using IT, and with our platform, they make sense of that. They cleanse the data. They basically use the analysis, the analytics we have to measure their scope 1, scope 2 of their operation, to understand how much CO2 emissions they actually drive through the operations. And then they can use the platform to have a benchmark with some others and get some AI insights to tell them, hey, you may want to look into this and that in your operations to cut down your CO2 emissions. And they can do the same with water emission, which is very important, and waste management as well. I'll give you an example, I think, which is pretty profound of the way Bimbo is becoming a data company using Microsoft Clouds and using the power of AI to do a lot more.
Le pregunto a Jean-Philippe qué lo entusiasma en términos de la inteligencia artificial y me dice que, sí, justo están trabajando con o respondiendo a economías, gobiernos y que todos serán, y esto es fundamental, organizaciones de datos. Y me pone un ejemplo bien interesante que es Grupo Bimbo, una empresa global, obviamente mexicana. Y ellos se dieron cuenta que tenían que poner una fábrica de datos con el objetivo de ir viendo, por ejemplo, en la parte de manufactura toda la data que van generando a través del IoT o el Internet de las cosas con inteligencia artificial, y eso les permite establecer, digamos, benchmark o referentes de mejora. Y además, bueno, eso en la parte de manufactura, entender dónde está, en la parte de ventas también cuál es el ciclo de venta, etcétera, y en un tercer elemento la sustentabilidad, en donde Bimbo han sido muy avanzados y, por ejemplo, ahí pueden medir toda la data en términos de emisiones, por un lado, pero también decirle a otras fábricas qué pueden mejorar para reducir sus emisiones, entendiendo que pues tienen todos estos datos, además en temas como el agua y en el tema de los desechos, digamos, o el reciclaje, y eso es un aspecto fundamental. And what is the question that an organization should make about its data?
Yeah.
How do you have your data once? Because almost all organizations has the data, some in paper, some in other places.
Yes.
What is the question? How can we need to have the data in order to be ready for this technology?
There's a number of fundamental questions you need to ask yourself. Is number one, what are the most critical data you need to actually make sense of in terms of the destiny of your business? And you need to understand, of course, where are all those data being produced? And you've got data internally in your company. You've got also a lot of data from outside that you need to integrate. Mm-hmm. As you have this understanding of the landscape of the data flowing in and flowing out of your business, you need to create the data lakes, the data fabrics, where you can really ingest tons of those data real time, every second of your business. And then you need to apply, indeed, some real-time analytics tools, some visual tools to enable your people. Whatever they do, they could be, they could be actually head of sales, they could be production, they could be sustainability, as I said as an example, to have visual representations and insights with some machine learning models of what's going well, what's going wrong. And the last one I would say, last 2 points, is you need also to formalize what is being called a set of data models. You need to conceptualize what are the most fundamental data connections that are going to drive productivity, are going to drive profit, that are going to drive sustainability in your business. And that's all about becoming a data company. Okay. So you need to really immerse all of your entire organization into the data culture. But you also need to build a data technology platform and the governance process to make sure you are doing that in a responsible way, because data and AI means you need to be fair, you need to be secure, you need to respect privacy, you need to be also inclusive, and to have integrity and accountability. Those are the ethical principles of AI. And as a company, we are really doing a lot of work with our customers and governments to make sure those principles are being used as they build data models.
And it's very interesting what you were saying about the outside data, because I was thinking about Bimbo and what is the correlation in the cell of breath with temperature. And if the temperature rises, you can forecast that your sales are going to go down or up. I don't know.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be very important to have this in real time, and it's going to give you a big advantage versus your competence.
Absolutely right. Yes.
Pero bueno, traduzco lo que me dice Philippe, y nos dice que para ser una empresa de datos tienes que ver cuáles son tus datos más críticos, cómo entran, cómo salen, y hacer una fábrica de datos que están entrando en tiempo real con herramientas herramientas visuales que te permiten ver esto aplicando machine learning o técnicas de machine learning y el modelado de estos datos, pero además otra parte bien importante que es la dimensión ética de seguridad, de confianza, de inclusión que deben de tener las empresas, porque evidentemente la inteligencia artificial o digamos los datos tienen que tener estas particularidades con el objetivo justamente pues de que nos movamos en ese sentido, y nos dicen que en Microsoft están trabajando justamente con gobiernos, con empresas para avanzar en esto. Jean-Philippe, it's a pleasure. The time is finished. It's a shame. But I'm very happy that you're here, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much, Rodrigo, for having me, and all the best.
Good luck with the soccer match today.
Yes, important game for France today. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Ahí escuchamos a Jean-Philippe Courtois, el vicepresidente ejecutivo y presidente de Alianzas de Transformación Nacional en Microsoft.